Hey everybody. So this video is going to be a quick tutorial on how to plot a line from a simple linear regression. All right, so I've already run our linear regression predicting depression from social support. So I'm going to look at that output and then I'm going to show you what numbers to pull from that output so as to be able to generate a regression line. Now I'm going to generate that regression line in Excel. I find it easier to work with for graphing and pretty much all of the data cleaning. I only actually use SPSS for the analysis. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Boom. So here is my output, right? So I've run my regression. I've got my model summary up here, and I've got my coefficients table here. Now, to plot the line, like I said, I'm gonna go into Excel, but before I do, I need to go ahead and run descriptives on my predictor, and I did that before the video, and here they are. Now you'll see where this comes into play a little bit later. It won't be very blatant at first. So what I'm going to be pulling information from is the coefficients table and the descriptives table. So I'm mentioning that, and I'll come back to it, but just to mention. So first, to create my line, I'm going to use a simple linear equation. Y equals a plus bx. All right. I'm sure it should sound vaguely familiar from your high school math days, but definitely it should be familiar from regression or from your intro to stats class. So the A is your constant. B, that's your unstandardized beta. X, this is the value of your predictor. All right, and so when you're making a line, when you're trying to make the line that shows the relationship between your predictor and your outcome, you need 2 points of that line. You need a high value of your predictor and a low value of your predictor, and then you draw a line between them. So that's what X is. It's the value of your predictor. And we get those values from those means and standard deviations. So one of the traditional ways a high value on your predictor has been defined has been 1 standard deviation above the mean. And traditionally, a low value of your predictor is 1 standard deviation below your mean. And so I have over here everything I need for that, right? So I need a mean, and I need a standard deviation, and I want to calculate a high value for my predictor and a low value. So I'm going to come back over here to my output. Here's my mean, 3.2476. I'm going to put that in there. 3.2476. 3.2476. I'll come back over here, and then I'm going to get my standard deviation. So 0.63833. 0.63833. So 0.63833. 0.63833. Now, again, traditionally, a high value of our predictor was 1 standard deviation above it. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put equals my mean plus my standard deviation. Enter. So there is a value that represents a high value on my predictor. Low is just the exact opposite of that. So equals my mean minus 1 standard deviation. So a high value of my predictor, which is social support in this example, OSS is social support. High value of that is 3.88593, and that's 1 standard deviation above the mean. A low value is 2.60927, and that's 1 standard deviation below the mean. All right. Now we're going to set those aside for a second. We're going to come back to it. So we're coming back to our regression equation. All right. So y equals a plus bx. Again, a is our constant, b is our beta, and we get those values back here from our coefficients table. All right. So here's our coefficients table. Constant 2.921. Go back into Excel. Constant 2.921. unstandardized beta for social support. Go back in here to our output. There's the variable. Here's the unstandardized beta, negative 0.276. Go back in here to Excel, and there it is, negative 2.76. Now again, to draw a line, you got to have 2 points. You got to have a point at either end of the line. So I need a point. So I need a predicted value of, again, y here is, sorry, depression scores. So I need a point that represents the predicted value of depression given what I know about social support and my constant. So, and then I need a point representing the predicted value of depression, and I need one of those points for when social support is high and one of those points for when social support is low. Okay, so we've got what those values are. All we have to do is plug them into the x value, and that will generate through this Excel sheet what the values of what the predicted values of depression would be for low social support, when social support is low and when social support is high. So the reason it's doing that, if you come up here and you see, this is the formula. All that is the regression equation. D4 is A, F4 is B, G4 is X. All right, so all this is A plus BX. All right, A plus BX. So that's all this is. All right, and all I did was equals, and then I put in the cell number where A would be, plus, and then in parentheses, I put the cell where B would be, times the cell where X would be. All right, so D4 plus F4 times G4. Okay, and then once I've got that, I can copy it down. All right, because again, I need 2 points. I need the predicted value of depression when social support is low and the predicted value of depression when social support is high. So I've got my constants, I've got my betas, I've got the product of the y equals a plus bx formula. Now all I have to do is insert my values that we calculated earlier. So on low social support, I'm going to put the value of social support, which is 1 standard deviation below the mean. So that's 2.60927. You see how it automatically changes the value. And then when social support is high, 3.88593. And you see how it changes the value. All right, now I have all the numbers I need to create my regression line. I'm just going to do a little bit of a reorganization so that I can select the data easily. So I'm going to move these down here. And I'm just going to take the numbers. I'm going to copy these, and I'm just taking the numbers. So I'm going to right click and do paste values. Now I'm going to highlight. Sorry, these need to be right next to it, just for simplicity's sake. Then I'm just going to highlight all 4 cells, come up here to insert, go to line graph, boom. All right, now I need to make this APA formatted. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to make sure that this is Times New Roman. I'm going to blow it up so I can see it better. This needs a, I'm going to right click on this and format axis so that I can make this line solid and black. Same here. All right. Now, ideally, I would put this on the scale that my DV is in. And my DV is, I believe it's on a 5-point scale. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me verify that. It's on a 4-point scale. All right. right, so I'm going to come in here, I'm going to click on the axis, click on that, axis options, and I'm going to change this from 1 to 4. Now you can leave that line, that color if you want. I usually prefer it to be black, so I'm going to change it. And there you go. Bada boom. There is your graph. Now I still need to label my y-axis, so I'll just come over here, I'll click insert, text box. I'm going to center that. You notice it's not in Times New Roman, so I'm going to highlight that and change that so that it is, and make it the same font size. But then with the circle up here, I can click on that. You see how my mouse changes? Well, I can click on that and pull it sideways. We want it to be straight. And I don't want, you see how there's this border around it? I don't want that. So I'm going to it's not actually there, sorry. And so then I'm just going to move this over here to my y-axis. Bada boom. There I go. All right. And there is my line graph representing the relationship between social support and depression. All right. And as we know from the results, all right, which we come back and get here, all right, as social support grows, because this is negative, we know that depression declines. And that's exactly what we see in our graph. As we go from low social support, 1 standard deviation below, to high social support, 1 standard deviation above, depression declines. All right, guys, that is that for this video on how to plot a simple linear regression line. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. As always, if you have questions, send them my way. If not, take it easy.